Everyone. So Saturday morning, we're gonna go ahead and work on our weekly wrap up here. Uh, Overall, I want to say this is probably my best week I've had so far, but I also think it's week two, so maybe not count my blessings yet. But I do seem to be getting better at this, slightly, not greatly, still not profitable, but maybe next week. I don't know. I have high standards, so uh, but I learned a lot this week. That's really the important part, right? A lot on patience. Remember last week I was just as soon as I was seeing profit, I was looking to get out, uh, thinking, well, I might miss my exit and lose it, blah blah blah. This week, I learned to calm down a little bit more and deal with that. That helped a lot. Uh, I took a couple overnight conviction holds a couple times. Stuff like I know probably shouldn't do it with SpaceX, but it was bouncing around between 140 something and 150 enough. But last week I took conviction hold on it. It closed low, and I knew the next day it was going to go up, and I was going to be able to make some profit off of it. And then same thing with Meta. It wasn't bouncing, but I saw Meta just down in the dumps, so I grabbed it, held a handful of positions for the next day because I just knew like Meta's not going to stay this far down. It was pretty far down there. So yeah, those were things I was seeing. Some other major things that I've worked on is here we have everyone's favorite SpaceX, right? I'm going to be honest with you. I really thought this week this was going to blow up, and it's done nothing but actually go down this week further. Have we hit a new low this week? Yeah, we hit a new low this week. So that was great. I did make some money off SpaceX a couple times. So I want to say this drop on Tuesday, I ended up getting it down here. Oh, sorry, this drop on Wednesday is when it was. I ended up buying it down here, this drop on Wednesday, and selling it up here on Thursday. So made a little bit of profit. I figured, an overnight hold wasn't going to be bad. And at the end of the day, I'm holding SpaceX anyway. And one of my accounts, like I'm holding SpaceX. I'm treating it like Google. It may not be the trade or the hot thing to have right now, but I just had no doubt in this company. So yeah, I found some spots to make a little bit of money, but we'll see how next week goes. I think it's only a matter of time till SpaceX, really rallies. But they got to start showing some profits. So it's understandable. Investors want to see profits nowadays. Pretty quickly. From what I'm gathering, I don't know. Still working out this whole financial system thing. So let me know what you think. Do you think SpaceX up, down next week, or is it going to be choppy? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. All right, so this is my more recent screw up. This is DRAM, okay? DRAM's ETF has HK Hynix in there, Samsung, MU, basically all the big semiconductor memory people. Pretty volatile. But my bet on this was going into Friday with the SK Hynix uh, release. So uh, Thursday, about midday, I ended up grabbing some right here. It was about midday. I ended up grabbing some of this DRAM. I actually ended up taking a fairly significant position on it for what it is, I think. Not exactly for sure. And then what happened was as soon as HK Hynix was released, uh, I don't like the on this chart, but basically the whole thing just dropped out the bottom. And this doesn't really show it well. Let's move it to let's see if we can see it on the 1 hour. So here it is. Right here is really this 10th. We had a huge drop, huge drop. I ate it. I'm still holding the majority of what I have. I did end up buying some more down here so that I am technically in the green right now. I'm profitable. Uh, but I'm holding it longer than I wanted to. So I should have probably waited to make my initial investment until I saw what was going to happen. Instead, I speculated. Now I'm stuck holding the DRAM bag for probably at least a couple days over the weekend. It's a lot of risk, but I don't think these companies are going to, you know, go out of business this weekend. I'm not too tore up about it. Not too tore up. So I am also holding the bag on MU. Small bag, not a big bag. I mean, I guess any MU bag's a big bag. I mean, a few shares I'm holding. Uh, but reason being, I could have got out of it on Friday. There was a point of which I was profitable. Uh, and well, I actually on MU that day I was already profitable. I was up like 160 bucks. Uh, and it started going back up. I want to say we hit here. I really contemplated, getting rid of it. Uh, but you know what? At the end of the day, I was just like, no, it's got more to give. Went, it did not respond to the HK Hynix news, SK Hynix news as well as I thought it would. I thought we were going to see a huge jump that day. I was wrong. And so be it. So now I'm holding the bag on some MU. I think my average price on it's like 9. I don't remember, but something I'm not worried about it. I expect Monday I should be able to get my money out of it unless I'm completely wrong. I might be holding the bag a few days. I might. I think right now if I cut it loose on that one on those few shares, I might be down like $20 or something. Not a lot, but I figured I'm going to hold on to it. Uh, I didn't feel like I was getting max return that I could out of that. So I'm just holding for a few days. Okay. So let's look at MU a little bit closer. This is definitely one of the ways, I don't know, kind of do some momentum scalping and grab a few quick bucks here and there. But this is also how I got stuck holding the bag. So maybe don't listen to me. Anyway, so throughout the day here, this is the 1 minute candles. Okay. Throughout the day on Friday, we saw it come in. I ended up buying down here, selling, buying, selling. And and I kept this up throughout the day, right? $15 profit here, $20 profit here. We're talking 2, 3 shares, not a big stance. And I basically did this all day. Uh, and I want to say I bought in over here again. Uh, I saw this rip up, and it just wasn't what I wanted. It just didn't go high enough up for me. And as you see, the rest of the day, it was kind of just flat and crappy. Towards the end of the day, it started coming up, but I just still never reached the profit that I wanted. Uh, so I'm gonna hold the bag for a couple days, make this a swing trade if I need to. I know it's not really the best plan, but I'm also not doing this kind of action with just any stock out there, right? I'm picking high cap stocks, but they're also volatile. We see them move around all the time, and they're really hot in the industry right now. So I'm very selective on which positions I'll do this with. I'm not going out there grabbing the $2 pump and dumps and hoping they hold overnight. No, I don't care about those. The big ones I will hold for a few days if I have faith in that company. And that's been a big change I also made this week is if I don't have faith in your company, I'm not buying your stock. I don't care what the chart says. Uh, so lastly for the week, let's look at the trade bot and I'll kind of show you what I got going on there. And maybe, we'll see some cool stuff. All right, so if you're not an IT person or something, you probably staring at the screen going, I don't know what this is. This isn't trading. This is Visual Studio Code, and we're looking at more specifically my OSI Trade Assistant. Right now, there's two main functions that it has. The first function is actually just a straight scanner. Okay, this is a scanner, and right now, let's stop this from rolling. The mode, scanner only, broker connection, none, order actions, none. So I'm not making any paper trades. I'm not, connected to the actual broker. Market data provider, I'm using Alpaca. I got an API, free tier account API, and I'm using that. It does produce some log files and it archives old ones and clean alerts, blah, blah, blah. So it created this right here. Okay. Basically, what it did is it's going through and it's looking at all the different stocks and going through the logic that's put up in it, and it's looking for potential, you know, trades. Okay. And one thing that I have it doing is just marking all these and marking. You see, these are all potential breakout, range projection. Honestly, I don't know how well that's going to work yet. That's some breakout, something I just started building in there yesterday. So I haven't actually seen it make any successful trades on that. Last week, it did have multiple successful trades on just regular VWAP pullbacks. See if I can find some of those. Uh, so we're looking for some. So see, we have an open long position, and we're going to look for a close. Conservative exit. So my stop was hit. Yeah, so basically this dropped down until it hit my stop, and it looks like I came out of there. Yep. Then what else do we got here? Close. So we closed. This was also considered an experimental because it didn't have the volume that we really wanted for a VWAP pullback. Uh, but my target was hit here, and I see that, whatever the target was, let's go back and look at that. So it entries at 114.47. Initial stop was 112.53. Target stop was 115.44. 118.62 is our secondary target price. Okay, yeah. And that closed, and right now I'm not keeping track of how much we would have made. It's more of overall, it gets a 1R for reward, and it'll lose 1R. So basically, I'm just going off of, you know, is it getting, is it right or is it wrong? I'm not looking at exactly how much money it makes yet. I'm not worried about that. I just want to know, is it right or is it wrong? We're also working on trailing stops, and we're also working on just kind of getting my monitoring set where I want it. But on the scanner, if you scroll down here to the end, full scan rows written, 225 scans. It's scanned 225 tickers. Okay. Top candidates are right here. We have NVIDIA, CVX, XOP, FANG, Oxy. This is our list of top candidates, usual suspects. Uh, Apple, RTX, those are, getting close to the VWAP pullback. And it says watch it. But yeah, this is what my scanner does currently. While my paper trades, and I can run that if I want to run that. That runs for 8 hours. Yeah. It's called paper session, PY. All right. Session length is 8 hours. Project time zone, East Coast. Archive old logs. Scan interval is 300 seconds. That is every 5 minutes. It's going to run a scan. Okay. It can have a max of 5 open positions at a time, no more. Max total open positions per session, 8. I don't want this thing going crazy thinking I can make it back. When I hook AI to this, I want it to say, I hit my loss point, I'm done. I don't want it to, bleed me dry. So regular hours, energy priority mode. So that's just some logic put in there that like when we see when I see the energy sector going up, turn that on, and it's going to pay a little bit more attention to those tickers. Uh, so yeah, boom, risk management. Okay, so +1 arm moves. So as soon as it makes that first reward point, uh, it moves the stop to break even. When it's once it moves to 1.5 times return and remove, it then moves the stop to half return, and it keeps doing that, trying to get as much out of it as possible without losing. Circuit breakers realized. So circuit breakers, what are circuit breakers? Basically, this is what stops it from spiraling out of control, and it stops everything, uh, and it's done. Okay. I have realized of -2R, so 2 consecutive losses. Done. Okay. Sorry, 2R. So if we end up, winning, and then we end up losing two, and we're done. So 2 consecutive losses, we're done. 3 total losses, we're done. 2 experimental losses lock out new experimental entries. That is that experimental low volume near miss that talking about. It just doesn't technically meet all the criteria for a VWAP, but it's still stuff we want to watch because it could change, right? Then yeah, it just tells me where I put everything out here, and we'll see. Scan started. Uh, tells us where everything's ran to, and yeah, it's going to run for 8 hours. It's already stopped, whatever. Because we're outside of trading hours, I basically don't let it run outside of trading hours. So it stopped anyway. But yeah, that's how that works. So that is still not in a position where I am planning on using it anytime soon. For real. Uh, Kind of the way I want to work is kind of get these techniques, get the logic really kind of tuned in on them as well as I can. But then I'm probably going to start looking at, once I have my logic squared and my circuit breakers, I'm probably going to start looking at incorporating AI to double check, uh, the conditions I'm seeing, as well as, any catalyst that it may be able to find, any news articles or anything like that. So I'm just still kind of figuring out where AI is going to play into that as far as a double check on everything. But yeah, this is currently where I'm at. I can run this. I can scan for stuff that I could, look at live that I want to. Working on, the trade bot that can go in and do these trades for me. That might be beneficial. Uh, yeah, I mean that's really what's going on. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. Uh, be more than happy to have a conversation with you. Shoot me an email, like, subscribe, throw me YouTube. I'm out there on all of them, so just hit me up if you have any questions on the scanner or anything. Maybe you can kind of help me work out some logic for some other trends that it needs to be on the lookout for. Anyway, like, subscribe. Thanks for everyone for watching. All right, guys. I hope everyone had a great week in the market. I hope people made money. And didn't lose too much. I learned a ton this week. Uh, Mostly, biggest things, patience, and I hate to say it, but nothing beats experience. And you could probably get experience a whole lot better, a whole lot safer at my level, paper trading. And if you look all around, this says paper trading everywhere. And I did that for like a week, and it's just so boring. And I understand, like, this should be boring. This should this should get to where it is boring, from my understanding of it. Like I'm looking for certain conditions, and I'm getting better at spotting those conditions and knowing where to look for them too. So great week for me. I really think I learned a lot. My AI bot's coming along. Yeah, just overall, not a bad time this week. So thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Don't do anything dumb. Don't lose all your money.